Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here sitting with my orzo and I'm also here with some strawberries to talk about very, very important topic. I'm going to talk about this or 10 tips that you should know before writing your thesis. I'm here with my notes because I really took a lot of notes for this video and I wanted to share them with you. So first of all, as a small introduction, as you may or may not know, I now finished my PhD in chemistry and I recently graduated from KIT, so the university here in Karlsruhe. And here at KIT for the PhD thesis, you have to write a thesis based on your research years. In this case, there were 3 years that I spent in the lab and I had to write my thesis about my PhD topic. Of course, the finishing time of a PhD is always super stressful, and I would say that the starting and the finishing period of a PhD are the most stressful time. At the beginning, you don't know what to do, where to go, where is the stuff in the lab, who to ask. Then you kind of get some experience, you get in the flow, and afterwards, at the end, it's again super stressful because it's a completely new part of the research that is basically the writing and put everything into a very huge book. So these 10 tips that I will give you will be articulated in 3 main categories. One is the organization, the second one is the writing process, and the third one is related to mental health and kind of keeping your routine and life in balance during the writing period. For the tip number 1 regarding the organization is to start documenting in the lab since day 1. This is really a lifesaver and it's something that I thought all the time before writing and even during writing and when I started writing at first. This is super important, especially if you are writing a thesis based on the experimental data that you collected. You have to think about what you did exactly on one specific X day 3 years ago. So I would say that it's really important that you, since day 1, when you start in the lab, keep very, very good track of everything that you are collecting, every kind of experiment, every node. I used to make very detailed side notes, so handwritten in my lab journal, or anything that I thought it would help future me, but it's really, really important to take very, very, very good care of your data, of your experiments, and of documentation in general since the first day. Number 2 that I can give you is to start writing your thesis since day 1 as well. And what do I mean with this? I mean that since it's a very, very long journey, so 3 years are very long, especially 3 years of experiments, it's important that you, during these 3 years, collect your data and that you already make them results ready. Or like imagine that you always have to write a publication. So your data will always look the best, the formatting is already done, the layout is always the same, everything is perfect. And then when you have to write your thesis, you just simply have to copy and paste from one document to the other. So this is a very important tip that will save you a lot of time during the writing period, and that I thought it was really, really important to take care of during the 3 years. Point number 3 is backups. So backups are really, really important. I know it sounds very stupid to say it because it's your thesis, and of course you will get backups and make backups and save your thesis everywhere, but still I thought it's important to think about. I had my thesis saved periodically on an external hardware, and it was always uploaded automatically online on the cloud. But if you don't have cloud access or stuff like that, you can think about saving it regularly in an external pen drive or hardware or whatever it is. Number 4 is to learn again very early to decide and learn a specific citation manager. For me, for example, personally was Zotero. I really like it, and I made my collection of papers that I collected during the 3 years. And in Zotero you can always also do very specific annotations, or like organize the papers with tags if something is related to a project or to another project, and so on and so forth, and you can do your collection and sub collections. So I don't know, I really liked it also because it was very intuitive and easy to use, and it was directly connected to Word, so there was really nothing that I could do wrong. And yeah, so personally I would really recommend Zotero, but I know that there are also really several noteworthy alternatives, and that you should just go pick one, learn it, and use it. Now for the writing process category. For the writing process in general, I thought that one very important point was to check with your university if there is a specific layout or a specific font that you need to use, because in our case, we were quite free, but I know that some universities are really strict. So I would recommend really to check this prior starting to write. And another thing that I can, for example, recommend is to always leave some space on the left side of the page. In our case, there was a specific layout from the university that where this was already taken into account, and this is important for the binding. So this part here that you can bind in the end. This is important if you have to print your thesis. If you don't have to print it, then you don't really care about this. Number 6, so tip number 6 was to utilize self-imposed deadline. So this was very important in my case because I really work very well with deadlines. And I started my thesis in November and my deadline was in March. But I'm not talking about the final deadline, but I made a deadline for every chapter and subchapter that I had to do. So I really put it into my calendar, a deadline for, I don't know, introduction, or a deadline for experimental section, deadline for blah, blah, blah. And then if I really was struggling, I even put smaller deadlines that were kind of a bit more flexible, of like subchapters. But this I did not do all the time. But these really kept me on track, really. I was really well on track with these deadlines because I knew that I had this amount of days or weeks to finish the chapter, and then I was really putting a lot of effort into respecting them. Number 7, that was also really important for me, or that I kind of found out while writing, was to have a fixlator list. The fixlator list was a list that I literally started on pen and paper while I was writing, because once you write, you always scroll through your document back and forth, especially when you start to have a lot of pages. And then you see, oh my God, in chapter 7, there is this typo, or I don't know, in chapter 6, I did not put the correct font for the figure caption or whatsoever. And all of these small things that you notice while you scroll through, but maybe you don't have the time in that moment because you're in the middle of a sentence, or you are thinking about something or looking for something, and you don't have time to fix them. So I started to write everything on a piece of paper, like literally in this notebook, what needed to be fixed. But you can also keep, of course, a Word document to keep track of what needs to be fixed. And then I did the smaller adjustments in the end. As now for the most important part, that in my opinion is mental health and like keeping your routine while writing, because this is a point where I kind of struggled, like a little bit. For the point number 8 is to create a routine, especially if you're working from home. So in my case, I could have the possibility, thank God, to write from home. But this is not always the case. Sometimes you have to write from the office, or sometimes you can have days at the office and days at home, or days where you have to go to the lab to repeat an experiment. These are also possibilities. But what really is important, in my opinion, is to keep a routine. And especially if you are, as I said, working from home, because you can feel quite isolated. Thesis writing requires a lot of mental effort, and in general, you could feel quite lonely. Therefore, what I would recommend is to schedule a lot of time to cool down and to meet friends and to keep your social life intact. And what I did, for example, was still going to the office sometimes to have a coffee break together with my colleagues or stuff like that. So small things that still kept my mental sanity in check. Point number 9, which is also very important, was to exercise. So when you're so stressed during the writing phase, can also happen that you say, you know what, now sport is really not what I want to do, or the last thing that I want to do because I'm very stressed, or I'm very tired because of the writing, so I really don't want to do any sport. But trust me, you will feel better. At least this worked very well for me, even on the days, and there were a lot of days where I was so tired from writing and everything. But then I was still sometimes going to the gym or going out for a run if I wasn't feeling like being around a lot of people, like would be at the gym or any fitness studio. Or sometimes I was even going for yoga sessions or at home or in the park or at the yoga studio. So in general, I always found a way to move my body and to still eat healthy. So being stressed is not an excuse to completely lose it and start to have very unhealthy habits to cope with stress. Actually, on the contrary, so exercising and eating healthy, I would say, are the most important pillars that you should really keep during stressful times. Tip number 10 is that your writing time, or the time where you are the most productive and writing a lot, may not necessarily be in the standard 9 to 5 working hours. At least this was not for me. So in general, I'm a person that it's very productive in the morning. So for me, early mornings were the best time to write, and I always woke up around 6 and started to write a little bit. Then I had my coffee, breakfast, and started to write again. And normally around 2 p.m. I was always getting so tired, and then I wasn't able to do any productive work. And therefore, either I dedicated the time to, the fix later list or organizational task or cleaning around the house or stuff like that, or I just simply went for a walk or for sport, because in any case, it's not that you have to write 8 hours per day. It's also not humanly possible, I think, but having 2 or 3 hours of deep focus every day will do a lot better for you than, I don't know, 6 hours, but being distracted all the time. This was a point that this worked for me, but of course I also know that some people are more productive during the evening, so sometimes you will find yourself writing a lot more during the evening or late nights even. And then of course all of your daily schedule will be a little bit messed up, to say, but yeah, it's just for a small period. Do what feels better for you and do what makes you feel more productive. So you guys, these were my 10 tips. I hope that they helped you somehow, or that they will reach the people that need them, because honestly, these are all things that I kind of found out while writing, or maybe just thought about it while writing, but I thought this could be really useful for somebody that is maybe, I don't know, very anxious about the writing phase, or that would need some tips. So I hope they really help you. And if you have more, of course, write them in the comments if you have something to add, or how was your experience, or will you have this experience in the future. Let me know, and leave a like if you liked it, or if it was useful for you, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos of me. And concluding words that I feel like I have to say: you are not your thesis. So don't put all of your self-worth into your thesis. This is a piece of your work. Of course, you want to put a lot of effort into it, and it's also right to do so, but it's not defining your own personality. So you are not your thesis, and in any case, whatever comes out, you're not your grade, and you should not identify yourself with your academic journey, because it's really not something healthy to do. You are you, and the thesis is also a part of your journey, but it's not the whole you, let's say this. And another thing is also don't compare your thesis journey to the one of others. This can be very tempting to do, or at least this is something that a lot of people do every day, like comparing themselves to others. But you don't know what these people are going through. You don't know how they are prepared or what they did before, what they will do after. You don't know anything, so please don't compare yourself, because this journey is unique and it's yours. And please also enjoy it, because in the end it will be really amazing, especially also when all the stress after the exam and the defense is also going away. It will really be a very special period of your life that you will treasure probably forever. So enjoy it. Bye.